Hello. I wanted to do this video. First of all, I want to say that I'm not a professional cyclist, but I have been cycling. And when I say I've been cycling, it doesn't mean every day, but I have been into the hobby. I'm not going to say the sport because to me, somebody that's in the sport is somebody is very fit and maybe they belong to a cycling group. Maybe they do some competitions and races. So I'm gonna say I'm in the hobby of cycling. I believe since 2014, and it was for weight loss reasons. So it's been about 7 or 8 years. I started off with the Walmart $99 bike, and then after maybe a few months, I found a used Giant. That's the brand name. Uh, Hybrid bike, which is kind of like a road slash mountain bike, and I rode that for 4 years. After being in the sport almost 5 years, I realized this is something that I really love, this hobby. So I invested in myself and got myself a Giant Comax 2. It's a carbon fiber frame. This is the bike that I still have, and I love it. You can condition yourself on any bike. But if you want to go to the next level, and I'm not saying I know everything about cycling, but I do want to share what I do know, especially with this ride coming up next year, riding down Highway 1 from San Francisco to Santa Monica. And myself, I'm 50 years old, and being the weight that I am, obviously I have some weight to lose, some conditioning to do, some muscle to work on for that type of distance. So I wanted to share with you some of the things I feel are essential in conditioning that are going to help you. The first thing I want to mention is a cadence sensor. The cadence sensor, it's a little tiny sensor that attaches to one of your cranks, where your pedals are at. And it basically counts every time it goes one full turn. And so it does a count of how many turns or revolutions it makes in 1 minute. That's important. Why is that important? I'll be honest with you. When I used to ride, I didn't realize before I had a cadence sensor, I didn't realize that I would pedal and stop, pedal and stop, pedal and stop. So I never truly conditioned myself to keep spinning. And this is something I didn't even notice because at the end of the day, I was on Strava and it marked my miles. And whether I did 5, 10, 15, 20 miles, all I cared about was the fact that I did those miles. What I didn't take into account is I never had a cadence sensor. So I was never able to really notice that I didn't really fully pedal all the time. I would just pedal enough to coast, pedal enough to coast, pedal enough to coast. And as you know, yeah, at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, I did 20 miles, but how much did you really pedal? A cadence sensor um, always lets you know how much you're spinning your crank, how many revolutions, how many times you're pedaling in a minute. And I'll explain how you know that in a minute. But other than the cadence, there's another important thing that I have, which is a Garmin sensor. Um, this sensor is very, very important I'll say to save your life. Uh, I don't know how long it's been out. It's new to me, but it attaches to my seat post. And this lets me know when a car is coming up behind me. I have found this so critical because before I was constantly looking back, and there's many times because I was looking back, I almost hit a pothole, almost didn't see a car door opening in front of me by somebody parked, Um, and this is dangerous. By having this basically radar sensor behind me, I don't have to worry about looking back until I see that it notices a car. This is awesome. This is life changing and probably life saving. It lets me know roughly 2 blocks away when a car is coming up, and I could also see how fast that car is coming up and how many cars. I think it senses up to 8 cars at once. And how do I know this? Well, I will explain that because the way I know the cadence is the way I know the cars that are behind me. The third thing I want to talk about is an armband heart rate monitor. This is also key and important to conditioning myself for that long ride down Highway 1. As you all know, every single one of us has a limit to how much our heart can take. And this is a great way to know when you've reached that point, especially going up hills. You got to know your limits and when to stop. I have a friend that, thank God, he's still alive, but he, when he was younger, was actually riding up a hill and had a heart attack because he didn't know he had pushed his limit. And not only for heart attack reasons, but also as you're conditioning, you want to get your heart rate up, whether it's fat burning or whether just building your heart, your cardio. It's good to know what your heart rate is. Now, all three of these, the radar sensor, the cadence sensor, the heart rate sensor, how do you know these numbers as you're riding? It all comes down to your bike computer. For years, I only rode with my phone in front of me. But by riding with my phone in front of me, it's been great, but it has its limitations. For instance, it kills my battery very quickly. And the last thing I want to do is go on a bike ride and I get a flat. And by using Strava and using my heart rate monitor and using all these things, I can't use my phone because it's dead now. So I have a bike computer, and my bike computer connects all of these sensors into one. As I'm riding, first of all, this specific bike computer is the one I chose after doing much study for what I wanted, for what I like. It's the perfect bike computer. This computer connects all of these sensors, the cadence, the radar behind me, the heart rate monitor, all of it, along with my speed. I can see how fast I'm going. I can see the average speed. I can see the elevation. I can switch and see the GPS map. I can preload rides. So if I have a group of 20 riders and we're gonna go through a city or whatever, I can make up the map, send it to each of them, and if they all have a bike computer, it will tell them when to turn right, when to turn left, when to go straight, and when they've gone off track, it'll beep and reroute them to the right direction. This bike computer is essential. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. These are the things that I feel are essential in order to condition. Now, if you want to go along this ride along Highway 1, if you want to take up that challenge with Cholotrucker, myself, my wife, a few other individuals, you're free to do it. You don't need these things. But in order to condition yourself, I think this is essential. And not only that, but especially the radar, it'll save your life. We're going down Highway 1, which is basically a road that goes along the coast. And some of those areas are not equipped with any bike lane at all. So you'd want to know what cars are behind you for safety's sake. So with that, guys, thank you so much. And I hope this is helpful, even to Cholotrucker himself, to some of the other people that are riding with me, whether it's Chewy, Raina, anyone else. My wife is also riding. She is equipped with all of these things on her bike also. So thank you so much, and I pray that you join us and that this helped you some way, somehow. Thank you.